Welcome back to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
And I'm Joel.
And we're starting this new podcast. This is how Joel starts it out every time. He stole my call sign at the end last podcast.
Really?
So I
you got to
start this one. Yeah, I'm calling you out on it.
Do you have a license to drive that bus?
All right, so what are we talking about today, Joel?
Tragic news.
Oh, you're bringing this up? Okay.
Yeah, I feel you mentioned it earlier, and I feel like it's still fresh.
I did mention it. All right, go ahead.
2 days ago, Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter crash. But not only Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, his daughter's friend, the pilot, and a few others I don't know personally because it's just hard to see the information because it's a lot on Kobe and his daughter.
Sure.
And
what a shocker.
There's actually footage of the helicopter going down because it was an engine failure from what I hear, and it started spinning out of control, and when it hit the ground, it inflamed, so people are like, oh, it ended quickly. We do not know that, but I hope it did for them, and there was no pain in them. But it was very hard to do because it's Kobe Bryant, and he is one of the best players that will go down in history to play the game.
Absolutely. No question.
There's no argument on that. No argument.
It's I mean, obviously nothing but sad feelings and heartfelt remorse and best wishes to family members for this event, but it's just you can't not talk about it. I mean, we talk about entertainment. We always, mostly of the time, we're just bitching about Disney and Marvel and Star Wars. But
does Disney own NBA yet?
Yeah, but it's funny because it's not funny, but it's just you don't really think. I mean, I like sports. A lot of people like sports, and it's just you don't really think it's entertaining.
It is.
It's obviously a form of entertainment, but we never really. I don't think we've ever talked about sports in this.
I think we did baseball.
Podcast.
Didn't we do baseball?
I don't know.
We talked about books.
It's kind of weird. I know it sounds stupid, but like, there's very few moments in time where I hear news like this, and I'm like, oh, what? Like September 11th, turn your TV on. Michael Jackson's dead. It's like, and then like this. It's like
you almost remember like where you were.
Isn't that stupid?
Even though 9/11. Was massive. You remember what you were doing at the time, and you remember the conversations that were happening. When Michael Jackson died, you remember exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then now with Kobe Bryant.
Prince too. I
don't remember with Prince.
I don't know. I like my music, guys.
I know.
I guess. But
But you remember, like the people who hit you, you remember. Like, well, so like example, like when 9/11 happened, I was 16, and holy crap, I was 16?
Yeah, you're a young pup.
15? Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it was so long ago. If it was.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, we were going to high school. I'm going to school. My mom is driving me, and we get in the car, and I remember being in that car, and we're listening to the radio, and over the radio, you hear them talking about how the first tower was hit, and the second tower, people are evacuating and all this pandemonium, and my mom's like, is this real? And I'm like, I don't know. Is this really happening right now? Like, we didn't know. Yeah. She dropped me off to school, like nothing was the problem. I got out of the car, and right away I knew, no, this is real.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
And then my mom got home. This is the story I remember. My mom got home. The whole day at school, all I remember is that we watched the news all day. Every teacher is like, this is history unfolding. You need to watch it. But when my mom got home, she woke everyone up in the house saying, we're at war. There is people bombing the country. There's planes falling out of the sky. So my sister woke up out of craziness going, oh my God, like what's happening? She thought she was going to wake up to like, Armageddon.
Right.
And, all this shit. So that's what they remember. So that's my memory of 9/11. And then with Michael Jackson, I just remember leaving my girlfriend's house at the time in North Hollywood. I was driving away from her house, and she literally just texts me, Michael Jackson died. And I'm like, no, texting and driving, don't do that, it's unsafe. But I think but I think it was legal back then. So I text back going, are you serious? And she goes, yeah. So I pulled over and I looked up some on my BlackBerry. I think it was a BlackBerry at the time, not even a fucking iPhone. And I look up and I'm like, holy crap, Michael Jackson died. And it's just like these moments you have, like Michael Jackson, even though his later stuff I wasn't a fan of, I still grew up with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And now with Kobe Bryant, I was at work 2 days ago. We're working a show, so we're on comm. I also hear someone on a headset going, Kobe Bryant. Someone's saying Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash, and then you hear someone going, no, TMZ just pulled the article. I don't think it's a joke. And someone goes, I hope it's a joke. But then within minutes, someone goes, no, I'm looking it up right now. It's flooding the news right now. This is real.
Yeah, it was quick. I mean, it's amazing how fast people know about these things. Like, it's like I wonder how much time those poor family members had before the news broke. You know what I mean? TMZ is not exactly a sensitive news organization.
No, it's not. But the thing is, when you see the helicopter going down, and then you find out it's Kobe Bryant, of course the news is gonna flood with that.
Yeah. Because your life goes on. Obviously, it's not like you're gonna stop.
No,
but I was at a restaurant, one of those ones that has a bunch of TVs around, and all it was Kobe, and I just kept thinking to myself with my wife is like it's the poor families like they're going through all this stuff, and like I mean I doubt they're watching television, but if they were to walk anywhere near a phone or a television, they would see this unfolding and not get a break from it at all.
Oh, I'm sure their phones are blowing up. I would not be surprised if they turn their phones off.
Yeah, but let's talk Kobe for a second, because it's what I said earlier is kind of funny. And what I meant by it was, living in LA and going to a bunch of playoff basketball games and stuff. And
what sports team were you a fan of in basketball?
You're such a shit. Well, this is what I'm getting at.
What sports teams are in LA?
When I was in LA, I liked the Clippers. Okay,
I'm
originally a Celtics
NBA
fan.
Teams.
Will you just let me finish talking, because you don't know sports like I do.
No,
I know.
I go on that bandwagon.
I'm a Celtics fan, but when my favorite three broke away from the Celtics and Doc Rivers left, it kind of left the Celtics in a void for me. And I had just ironically been living in LA and only a few years after that happened. So to me, it was kind of a sad release of my old team. So then when I heard Doc Rivers coming to LA, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And he even brought a couple of people with him, and I was just like, this is awesome. And so of course, as you point out, the Lakers in LA are like the name brand, and then the Clippers for the longest time were kind of like the generic brand, the Hannaford or Ralph's brand. So
it still is.
Yes, but they actually had a good run. So I'm constantly defending myself against Kobe and how great he is and all this stuff. So I would be an asshole and say, well, if the Lakers are losing all the time, maybe they should get rid of their greatest bench warmer because he got injured, and he just signed that biggest contract he ever received in Laker history.
You told me this story, yeah.
So he's just eating up the financial roster and just not playing. So the Lakers are losing crazy. So I always liked to snub that into Laker fans' faces, but I mean, after I heard this, no one wants to see this happen to anybody, and especially my heart really, really breaks for his daughter being in that flight too. And
he also leaves behind a wife, a 7-month-old,
and
a 17-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Yeah, 7 months old.
He just had a baby.
He leaves behind 3 kids.
His daughter, that daughter's not going to know her dad.
We at first thought it was 4 kids, but then we realized one was in the helicopter.
Yeah, that was
really
awful.
Sad.
That was awful. Not to sound, but when I heard it first, it was just him, and so I was like, oh, I feel bad for his 4 daughters. But then when I heard the daughter, I was no.
You could almost make
awful.
the argument that with Kobe's success and all he's done in his life, that yes, like he's lived his life. You can make that argument, like he's lived his life and he's had a full life. But it doesn't make sense for the daughter.
But he had so much more life. I know.
Oh, he did.
I know you don't retire from something like this and not. The whole point is to spend time with your family.
I saw, like, I don't follow sports. I'm not a sports person. Yeah. But there's certain names that pop up, and I know there's a lot of controversy of, like, who played the game better, Jordan or Kobe, and, like, those two will go down as the best players in the game ever.
Absolutely.
So, like, I almost saw on Destiny that Kobe would own the Lakers one day.
Interesting.
But that will not come to fruition. But it's interesting, though, that since between those two, between Jordan, I've told you this, between Jordan and between Kobe, how they're both going to go down as the best players ever lived. As of right now, Jordan is still alive, of course, but
Yep.
Kobe's going to go down as a legend, and he will never be forgotten. Like if Jordan dies of natural causes, people will be like, oh, like in 40 years, we'll be like, oh, Jordan died at 89. Oh, that's sad. I'm not sure if that's his real age, but you know what I mean. Like you'll see it
Right.
on you're like, oh, like
Well, he was only a year
died.
younger, or a
Right.
year older than me, I think. But it's sad because
Yeah.
I think when we talk about Michael Jackson, we talk about Prince. We talk about Kobe.
Right.
The one thing that always strikes me is circumstances in their lives, except for Kobe. Let me rephrase: Kobe doesn't count, but Prince and Michael Jackson, like they had a lot of fucked up stuff going on, whether it was drug related or otherwise, or abuse. But their time was kind of like Elvis. Their time was cut way shorter than it could have been. Does that make sense? Like the tragedy is these people, if circumstances were different, could have gone on for a lot longer. They could still be on this earth right now, no problem. And I feel like with Kobe, this is like one of those tragic things where it's like, in a weird sort of way, he's always been on top of his game. I mean, granted, he didn't play those years he was injured, but after playing his final game, he ended it so well, and then he could. It's almost like a new beginning where he could have started his life with his family and really start to focus on his children. And it's just really, really sad that he will never get that opportunity, and his family will never get that opportunity.
And you watched that final game recently, didn't you?
I did. Well, I mean, because I'm a nerd, I buy a bunch of basketball games and playoff games off of iTunes, which now I don't think they sell them anymore, which is unfortunate. But I bought his last game because I'm not a Kobe fan. I mean, he was one of the best rivals all my teams had.
But you can't deny what he was.
You can't deny what he was. It's like, Michael Jordan, he played for Chicago Bulls. I'm not a Bulls fan, but everyone,
you got to recognize
everybody watched how awesome
they're
that
part of the
Chicago
dream
Bulls
team. You recognize who was part of that dream
Yeah.
team, the USA
Yeah,
dream team.
Just like anybody else, and the
Like
NBA.
Shaquille O'Neal, people make fun of him all the time for being a bad free throw.
Right.
But you recognize that he was a great player.
Well,
Was he a great
the
player?
NBA
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like with NBA, it's hard because I grew up in the '80s, and I'm not saying they were more loyal back then, but a good player or a couple of good players would stay on a team, and they would build a franchise and a dynasty. And ironically, in the last few years, it kind of got back to that a little bit. LeBron James, for example, he stayed with the Cavs and for a while, and the Spurs had a good running team for a while, and the Clippers even did a little bit, and the Lakers. But it's Oklahoma City for a while had it, and definitely Golden State Warriors. But it's one of those things where it's like you follow the player more than you do anything else. Like if you're a LeBron James fan, you're obviously going to be a Cavs fan until he leaves, and then now you're going to be a Lakers fan. I mean, a lot of
Kobe
now
play?
it's like,
did Kobe play for Lakers his whole career?
yes.
Wow.
Yes, I think. Don't quote me, but I believe so. Yes, right from day one. But I watched his last game. I watched this last game last night, maybe 2 nights ago. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But it's like watching a legend play basketball. It's like Jordan or Bird, or I mean, even all those guys that are now sportscasters. They are all great legends too. And it was always a special time to watch those players. But him scoring 60 points in that game. I mean, what a way to close his career, And getting on to the side notes of honoring him. I mean, like, I thought it was very awesome and touching that every game that happened that day, what a great solidarity and sportsmanship where every team took a 8-second violation or a 24-second violation before starting the game. And a lot of players were talking about how difficult it was to play even, after all this happening. And it's difficult. I mean, Doc Rivers it's hard to watch Doc Rivers. I think that gentleman's amazing. And
who's Doc Rivers?
He's a former Celtics coach, now Clippers coach, but he was emotionally broken up over it. And I felt it. You can't watch that and not feel it. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm definitely no saint. I mean, I bad mouth Kobe all the time because that's what you do to your rivals. When you're
Of
watching your
course, but
favorite
it's
team.
it's out of fun.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I guess that's where it comes into play is like somebody was truly special when when you admire your rivals. Does that make sense? You don't want to admit it, but you totally do.
Right.
And there's a lot of
Yes.
Laker fans today that are obviously really upset, but
Well, there's a
um,
petition going around to get the silhouette changed to Kobe. The Mark Cuban, owner of Mavericks, he's retiring the jersey number 24 out of respect from the Mavericks. So there's a lot of things going on to do for Kobe, and it's just interesting because it's just he is going to be immortalized, and he
yeah,
was always going to be immortalized, but now it's even more so. Just like how when JFK got assassinated, like if JFK lived out his term, I don't think we'd be in the situations we are now. It'd be a little different. Of course, history changes, but the JFK's what he preached lived on more. Just like Martin Luther King Jr., even though he was assassinated as well and died before his prime, what he was preaching as well lived on harder and stronger because people fought for that more. Now that someone died for this, now we have to kind of thing. So it's just with him dying, with Kobe dying so young and so early, and his daughter, I think it's gonna immortalize him
yeah.
even more.
I think that's the hardest part too. Is like there's so many you could tell. I mean, there's just video documentation of it with him and his daughter at games and
Oh
stuff
my
that
god, and she was
you could
good
just
too.
she was good. And the thing is, like you could tell, like I wouldn't have been surprised if he, ironically, would have had more of a role in the WNBA at some point. Like I feel
Yeah,
like he would have taken that route too with his daughters and talk about a father daughter bonding experience. I mean,
right.
it's
And
just
if
it's father's love.
if
It's a tragic. It's just so tragic to watch.
almost like if she was still alive because she wanted to follow in his
Right.
footsteps, if she didn't die in that crash and he did, she would totally fight even harder and stronger to be that. You know what
I'm,
I mean?
I'm
So
sure.
like
I'm
with her,
sure.
like I can't, like what goes in my mind right now every time I think about it is when the engine failure started happening. All I could picture is him grabbing his daughter and going, "It's
Oh,
going
I
to be
know.
okay. It's going
You
to be
can't.
okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay." But
Yeah.
then
Yeah. No,
you're
you
not.
can't even. It's awful. Yeah.
And you
No,
don't
it's
even
it's
know, like,
it's
what if he
morbid.
died
It's morbid.
first
Yeah.
and she was looking at him, like, you don't even know.
Well, it's morbid. It's morbid to think about
It's
because,
very
but you
morbid.
can't
It's
not
very
think about it.
sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think too what he's thinking. I can only imagine it'd be like, I put her in this position. I put her in this situation.
Yeah.
It's gotta be an awful, awful thing. Um, Man, I actually had an opportunity to meet Kobe, ironically, and it wasn't through it wasn't through the playoff games that I went to. It was through another event. But he was very cool. He was very chill. It was nice to meet him. Like again, I was kind of a smart ass because at the time I was a Clippers fan, but I still kind of am, I guess. But it's funny because like yeah, he was just a really cool, collected guy. And he was very brief time I known him. It was pretty cool.
He
But
never seemed like a bad person. He had that one scandal, but I feel like,
yeah.
honestly, part of me feels like sometimes people go, you need a small scandal just to build up your reputation. You need a small scandal.
Well, let's. I know we're running short on time on this, but let's talk. Uh, I don't know, semantics about this. Like the area, the fog was so bad that L.A. Police department grounded their birds that day, and
Right.
this helicopter took off.
Yes.
So I mean, why do you? I mean, ultimately the pilot's decision whether
Who
if
made
they could
that
go or
call
not.
though? Who made that call?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The pilot has the final say.
Well, yeah, but like, did he get pressured? Did something happen? Like,
No, no,
I
because
didn't.
they mentioned with another pilot that Kobe flew with, because that's a great point. So for those of you that don't know, I mean, LA's traffic is fucking awful. If you've never done it, let me just tell you, it's awful. And to get to the Staples Center, uh, any time of day really is a pain in the ass. So Kobe always flew in helicopter. He flew in for his games and he flew in for practices.
Smart.
It was very rare that, if at all, he took a car into Staples Center.
Well,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so there's a pilot that he would often fly with, and they actually interviewed that pilot as well, and they said no, he never once pressured me like we should go no matter what or whatever. That he was always very in tune with being safe. So I don't think Kobe would have been the type
The thing is,
to force that.
it was engine failure, so
Yeah,
it had nothing. I don't. It may have not had anything to do with the smog that day or the
yeah,
fog, and it's just
yeah, yeah.
there's a black box, and I'm sure eventually that'll be released, and we're gonna
No,
hear
no, no, no. They said this bird did not have a black box. Yeah,
What?
they have to take. Yeah, they had to take all of the whatever they could find off of the iPad for the navigational systems,
Wow.
and that's if it survived. I mean, I haven't
Holy
followed the story since
crap.
it broke, just because it was kind of not morbid, but it's just
It's
he's
hard.
gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
They're not coming back. Either one of them or anybody else on that flight. I don't mean to belittle
I
anybody
know.
else that
That's what I feel
perished
bad.
that day.
Like all this going on
But
with Kobe and Kobe's daughter. It's like, well,
yeah,
there's 7 other
there's
people on that flight,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just sad. And like, I had a friend who posted up all the names. I'm like, it's like you're identifying the victims and all that, but at the same time, you got to give them time to mourn.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm sure this is a shock. This will be a shock to the system for quite a while.
It's sad.
Um,
Like you hear that, and it's just shitty because you hear like good die young and the shitty live on forever.
yeah. Well, he will live on. I mean, it was so surreal watching that game because they're interviewing him. It was his final game. People are chanting Kobe. I'm watching him play. It's HD.
It's going to be
It's like
surreal for a
yesterday.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like yesterday. But it's unfortunate. So a lot of sports. I don't remember which basketball player said it, but he was like, or maybe it was a sports announcer. He's like, you know what? Whatever's going on in your life, if you've got a quarrel with somebody, just end it. Life is too short. This is a perfect example of that. And,
Mm-hmm. You
yeah, it's
never
true.
know. You never know
You never
when
know.
it's going to
You
end.
never know.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not getting in a
So
helicopter every day, but
right.
I could easily walk across the street and someone can hit me, and that could be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the NBA sports as a whole lost a legend. Again, way before his time. I mean, even it's just funny because he's not even playing anymore. But there's just obviously people still wanted to see him. I'm sure people like think that he had more, like you had said. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if he got involved in some other aspects.
Absolutely, you
Coaching
do.
or
Yeah,
otherwise.
absolutely.
So, and his daughter, that's, I mean,
Ugh,
if you're
the
not
daughter.
religious or whatever, but I'm a Christian, so my belief is like at least those two can have one-on-one games, up in the sky someday. Right now, at least they're together. But
Ugh,
it's
so
it's
rough.
hard.
It's
It's
hard.
hard, man.
It's
It's
hard.
hard for sure. But you never want to hear these kind of stories, and the only I'm not even gonna say that, it's just fucked up. But I was gonna say the only
I'm not
I
gonna
wouldn't
say it,
say
but I'm gonna say it.
well, it's not a positive thing, but this whole impeachment shit and tearing the country apart, this and that, Trump haters, Trump lovers, whatever you want to call it. This brought people back to earth. You know what I mean? Like this was a solidarity moment where it's just like, oh shit, guess what? Regular people in the world can die at any moment in time, and is this crap really worth it? You know what I mean? Like all this bitter bickering and bullshit. It's like, to me, it was a nice breath of fresh air. To it was a solemn reminder to definitely appreciate the people in your life, whether you know them or not, whether they're fans, family members, friends, idols. Like, just be grateful for the people on this planet, because you never know what's going to happen
Yeah.
and what can transpire. So, on that note,
All I
do you have
have
any final thoughts?
all I have to say is Kobe, rest in love, and my prayers are out to the family and all the
Absolutely.
people who are on that helicopter, all the family and
Absolutely.
friends.
Yep, that was awful. So, on that note, thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter, a little sombering Entertainment Banter. I am Matt.
And I'm Joel, and I'm done.